What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Rick Knows Hoops. I'm your host, Tyreek. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. This is the channel where we talk about NBA basketball. So if you love hoops, this is the place for you. And it feels like I haven't been in front of the camera in a minute. I mean, I don't think I made a recap video in like a week, it feels like. But hey, a lot has happened since then. But tonight, a couple win streaks got broken. So I'm here to talk about those real quick, man. Start off with the Knicks win streak. The longest streak in the league right now is currently at 9 games. The Phoenix Suns came into the Garden and ended that tonight. But before I get into the game, I want to give the Knicks a lot of love because I feel like I've talked about them a decent amount, but I haven't really during their winning streak, like maybe during the early stages. Thinking that when they played Dallas, I gave them a nice little video where I talked about Julius Randle and stuff. But hey, they've won 9 straight games, and I don't really feel like I've talked enough about them. But I can't stress this enough, just how much better the NBA is when the Knicks are playing good basketball. And really the culture shift that Tom Thibodeau and company have really applied there is tremendous. Julius Randle stepping his game up to new levels. The addition of Derrick Rose has really been big time for them. He's played amazingly during this winning streak. And even guys like, the vets that they have, like Nerlens Noel, Reggie Bullock. It's funny calling those guys vets when I don't think any of them are over the age of 30. Maybe Reggie Bullock is 30. And Alec Burks, I think he might be, around that round too. But those guys have been playing really good for them, man. I really like seeing that, especially with Mitch Robb being out. Nerlens Noel has really came in and been a key factor for them. He's played really good basketball. And even like Emmanuel quickly off of their, a rookie season, a late first-round pick, he's been really well, during this streak too, and really just during the whole season. It's just good to see the Knicks playing good basketball, but we got to talk about this game. It was a really great game. It felt like a playoff type atmosphere. Shout out to the Knicks fans, man, being back in the Garden. I like seeing that. And one day soon, I'm gonna be at the Garden, and I can't wait for that. I'm gonna make it to the Garden someday, man. But I just love that fans are back in the Garden. And this is a Phoenix Suns team that lost a couple games, to end the week. They lost against the Celtics where they just kind of played flat in the second half, and they ended up getting kind of blown out. Then they lost a game last night, or yesterday afternoon, to the Brooklyn Nets. It's kind of a weird game. KD came off the bench, which was, kind of funny. He was coming back from a little quad or thigh contusion or something like that. And, the Suns were playing really well. Devin Booker was, making his shots. DeAndre Ayton was playing really good too. And then all of a sudden, the flip just switched. It just switched like that. KD, Kyrie started taking off. So this is a game, second night of a back-to-back. Like, the Suns, they actually do kind of need this win if they want to get home court, because with the Utah Jazz dealing with the Donovan Mitchell injury, and they've lost a few games over the last week or so, this is prime position for the Suns to really make a run and try and get home court advantage, which would be a, great, turnaround for them. And, it's a game that they easily could have lost. The Knicks have been rolling, nice win streak, but the Suns were able to win this game. Devin Booker is amazing. I really don't think he gets enough love. It's funny because I feel like he was getting more love when he was playing for bad teams. But, he's on a winning team this year. I don't feel like he's getting enough love. He's been great. Even, sometimes on the defensive end, he's really been playing some decent basketball on that side of the floor too. But the Chris Paul effect is real, man. I mean, he iced this game tonight. He had 2 big clutch shots, which, would put the dagger into the Knicks winning streak. And I got to talk about the Chris Paul effect, man, because he's the point guard. He really is. He's the point guard. And you see his impact everywhere he's been. When he got drafted to New Orleans, that was a bottom tier franchise. That's back when they were the Hornets. Bottom tier franchise. When he was there, they were pretty much a playoff team the majority of his time there. And then he gets traded to the Clippers. The Clippers, another dumpster franchise until Chris Paul gets there. Then they go from a team that, has no business getting near the playoffs to a team that has contender aspirations. Like, they thought that they were a contending team. They might have underachieved due to several different factors, but they had that contender type status when he got traded to the Clippers. Then he goes to the Houston Rockets. His first year there, they were literally 1 game away. And if Chris Paul doesn't pull his hamstring, they might beat the Warriors, and they had a good chance of maybe winning the finals too. Like, that's the impact that Chris Paul really had. And we all know OKC last year. That was a great story, because if you said OKC was a playoff team last year, I don't think you're telling the truth. I think you're capping for sure, because nobody thought that there was going to be a postseason team. And they took the Rockets to Game 7 last year. And Chris Paul, was a big factor of that. That's why he got MVP votes last season. And what I'm trying to say is he's probably not even like in the top 3 or 5 of the MVP voting, or he probably won't be. But his impact numbers do not describe the impact that this man Chris Paul has had on this Phoenix Suns basketball team. And it just seems like everybody's play has elevated and everybody's really developing well. And Chris Paul has a big reason to do with that. And his numbers, they just won't tell the full story, man, because he's not putting up the big numbers like Steph or Joker or Embiid, but his impact is MVP type, in my opinion, and I think in a lot of people's opinion as well. I also don't want to take credit away from Monty Williams because he's done a fantastic job taking over the Suns team. I think last season was his first season, and we all know about the bubble, but they were playing pretty good basketball for a good portion of the season, and then they kind of hit a bad stride heading into the shutdown. But he's done a really good job with this team, and James Jones has done a very good job. A lot of people know James Jones for being on every LeBron team that made the finals except for the last couple, but he's done a very good job in this Phoenix Suns front office, because this Suns front office, like before he got there, their drafting is pitiful. Like it was just very bad. It seemed like they would always try and do the boomer bust pick, like guys that might have a high ceiling but they have real bust potential. And instead, James Jones comes in. Instead of following that same strategy, he decides to take players that fit his needs. Like I believe he made the trade for Mikal Bridges, and he drafted Cam Johnson. I'm a Carolina fan. I did not think Cam Johnson was going to be a lottery pick. I was happy to see him as a late first round pick. I was happy to see that because I didn't even expect that, honestly. But they took him in the lottery. A lot of people clowned them for that. Everybody knows Kobe White was surprised, but hey, he hit on that pick, and he's just picking guys that fit the culture that he wants to build in Phoenix, and guys that are winning basketball players. Even like Javon Carter, picking him up from Memphis. Javon Carter, his stats may not be flashy, but he's a winning basketball player. He plays winning defense, and he hits open jump shots for the most part. Jay Crowder might have not been the most sexy free agent addition that most people would be talking about, but he's a winning basketball player. And same with Dario Saric. He's been contributing to winning basketball. Got to give a lot of shout out to those Suns guys. I just spent 7 minutes talking about one game. I'm gonna move on to the next one, but shout out to the Suns. The Knicks, y'all will be fine. Y'all are still in prime position to get home court advantage. Let's talk about the next streak that got ended, man. The Washington Wizards kind of shocked everybody and went on a nice little win streak. They are playing the easiest part of their schedule, but you still got to win those games. And I feel like I haven't talked about them enough, too. They've been playing great basketball, especially since the trade deadline. Daniel Gafford's been a huge addition. Russell Westbrook seems like he's healthy for the first time in maybe a while, and he's playing really good basketball. But the win streak came to an end tonight at the hands of the San Antonio Spurs, and this game was it was very high scoring. It went to OT, but it was still 146-143 final score. And it was just like, to me, it just seemed like the Spurs, I don't want to say backcourt because I know DeMar is technically a forward now. I'm going to just say Spurs backcourt outplayed the Wizards backcourt. Even though Brad Beal had 45 points, he did take a lot of shots, but that's because nobody else is really contributing for him on his team. Russell Westbrook didn't have a great scoring night. The backcourt, I'm going to just say backcourt. DeJounte Murray, DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan, I don't know if he's going to be in a Spurs uniform next year. I really don't. But if he's not, I think some team is really they're going to get an all-star level player still at his age. And I feel like now he's better than he even was in Toronto because of the playmaking that he provides now. And, he's really, like, we talked about Julius Randle a couple weeks ago, how, like, we didn't expect his game to get like this. I didn't expect DeMar DeRozan to be a really good playmaker at any point in his career because he's really always just a scorer. But he's turned into a really good playmaker. I want to give DeJounte Murray his flowers as well because I think he has another step to his game. I really think he has another step to his game. I think it's just all about, opportunity. I think he has another step to his game. We know about the defense. Man's had 17 rebounds tonight. He had 17 rebounds. Ridiculous, man. I think he has another step to his game. He's shown me this season that he can be a pretty good shot maker too. Pretty solid playmaker from the point guard spot. I think he has another level to his game. It's crazy that he was a late first round pick too. He just fell into the Spurs lap, but Spurs are trying to compete for that play-in. Good one tonight. Same thing for the Wizards. We're going to get to some teams that they're competing with. I'm actually going to move to the next one, the Chicago Bulls. They picked up a win tonight against the Miami Heat. I've talked about the Heat struggles this season, but I'm gonna focus on the Bulls right now because since Zach LaVine's been out with his protocol stuff, I can't say the word, but with his protocol stuff, everybody thought that the Bulls would pretty much be dead in the water, and they're still, I think, a game back of the Wizards now. But the Wizards won an 8-game win streak, and you're only a game back of the 10 seed. I think Zach LaVine is set to come back pretty soon. It's a good sign that the Bulls have been able to tread water without Zach LaVine because I didn't know that they would really win any games without Zach LaVine, and they won. I think if they're not 500, they might be a game under, maybe 2 games under, but that's still pretty good given that your 27, 28-point scorer is out of the lineup. And the addition of Daniel Tice, everybody knows Nick Vucevic got traded there. He's been good. He's still an all-star and stuff. But Daniel Tice, man, it hurts me. My Celtic guy, he's gone. But, the Bulls got a really good big, man. And he was playing, starter level minutes for us. Now he's a reserve. And he's really he does everything so well. He might be undersized, but he's a really good defender at the big man spot. Moves his feet pretty well on switches. And, he'll get the rare game where he puts up like 20 points. Like he did tonight, a 23-point double-double. I really like Daniel Tice. That was a great addition for him. He's really impacted the Bulls. Good win for them. That's for the Heat. I don't know. I'm waiting for them to hit the switch finally. See, I'm hanging on to see if maybe the bubble wasn't a product of the bubble for the Heat, but who knows, man? I guess we'll just see because right now they're flirting with the, being in that playing, tournament. So they need to get together. Speaking of another team that's trying to get into the play-in, the Toronto Raptors are finally starting to get healthy. A lot of people were getting on Pascal Siakam early on in the season because he wasn't really playing that good. He wasn't. And it was like, wow, he was an all-star last season. Ever since the all-star break, he was terrible in the bubble. And he started off the season bad. But he's been pretty good since that early, poor start. And the Raptors, they're starting to get a little more healthy now. They're starting to get healthy. It's good to see Kyle Lowry back in the lineup, Freddie back in the lineup. OG's been playing pretty good basketball too. And even guys like, when their stars or, their, starters were out, now you got to see guys like Malachi Flynn get big minutes. We've seen, games from like Gary Trent getting some really big minutes. It's really good to see those guys, just getting some good reps and stuff because they're going to need these guys if they get into the play-in and potentially the postseason. But, they've been playing really good basketball lately. The Cavs have like a very outside chance of making the play-in, but, this doesn't help. I got to give love to – I've been saying their backcourt's been playing pretty good all year. Darius Garland's been playing really well. A major jump from his rookie year to now. It's good to see that. And, like I said, you just got to give young guys time, man, because, some of these guys don't even play a lot in college. So you got to give these guys time, man. Guys are coming in at 19 and stuff. You got to give them time. Let's talk about the Denver Nuggets because since Jamal Murray's been out, they've only lost one game. Another win tonight against the Grizzlies. Second night of a back-to-back, but the Grizzlies have been playing pretty good lately. They've blown some games, but, they're a young team. You kind of expect that, but they're still sitting at the A seed even after blowing some games. But I gotta talk about Michael Porter Jr. because I was saying like he has to be Robin to Jokic's Batman. He really has to be that, and he's been stepping it up lately. He had a career game the other night, and tonight followed that up with 31 points. His role is going to be really expanded, and even guys like Will Barton, I seen him get injured the other night. I'm not sure what the extent to his injury is. But, they lost a game to the Warriors, I think, a few nights ago, but they bounced back. A couple wins back-to-back. Michael Porter Jr. playing really well. And I also didn't know Jokic hasn't missed a game. I know he's played a lot, but I didn't know he hasn't missed a game this year. MVP, man, MVP. Other games, the Hawks, they've been playing without Trae Young the last couple games. They beat the Bucks the other night, but I think tonight was the second night of a back-to-back as well. And they ended up losing this game to the Pistons. The Pistons are a team that will catch you slipping, like if you're not playing your best basketball. So, I can't even, dog the Hawks for that because they've just been playing great. I think they're 20-8 over their last 28 games since firing Lloyd Pierce and giving Nate McMillan the keys to the team. Nate McMillan is a coach that is he's gonna make sure your team's playing winning basketball for sure. That's one thing that he's gonna do. Oh yeah, I meant to talk about this game earlier, man, but the Timberwolves beat the Jazz back-to-back games. And this one was crazy ending. Mike Conley had hit a three to give the Jazz a 1-point lead. And then next possession, sideline out of bounds. I think Cat said a down screen, or no, D'Lo said a down screen for Cat. And Rudy Gobert had, like, they switched it, but then I think Mike Conley was trying to get back or something. And I don't know if they didn't communicate it well or something, but D'Angelo Russell ended up getting a wide open layup to win the game. Like, that can't happen. Especially, you're the 1 seed. The Suns are right on your tail. That can't happen, man. I wouldn't expect that from a potential defensive player of the year either. I'm not throwing any shade at Rudy. I just wouldn't expect that, but I guess moments like that happen. And shout out, hey, the Timberwolves, they've been playing good basketball since the trade deadline. They've been playing really good basketball. They put together some good wins during this time. Shout out to them, man. But some other games right now, it's looking like the Kings are about to beat the Mavericks. I'm not really that invested in this game, but when I was, really tuned in, De'Aaron Fox is not playing, but Tyrese Halliburton, first half, it looked like they wasn't missing a beat. Like, he was really running this team pretty well. Didn't have the best of shooting nights, but he was running the team, and he's showing a lot of promise, man. That was really a steal of a pick, for sure. So it's good to see the Kings getting a dub for once. The Mavericks, you want to separate yourself because the Trailblazers are playing such bad basketball. I think I'm gonna do a whole rant on the Trailblazers because they've made me more mad than most teams this season. But the Mavs, this is a game that you would like to win. No De'Aaron Fox, but shout out to the Kings, second night of a back-to-back getting this win. Harrison Barnes went down with an injury. Hopefully he's okay. And a couple more games I didn't watch. Philly blew out OKC. It seemed like none of the starters barely even played. Like, Joel played like 21 minutes or something like that. Easy win for them. And then the Lakers beat the Magic. Good to see AD back in the lineup. He had a pretty solid game. And it looks like Bron will be making his return soon. He posted a little teaser video earlier of him doing sprints. So King James should be back in the lineup soon, which is good for Laker fans. And if you're a real NBA fan, it's good for us too, because the league is better when LeBron James is on the court, obviously. But I've been talking for 17 minutes, man. If you got to this point in the video, I appreciate you a lot. Thank you for tuning in. And I'll be back next time, y'all.